So this is the mock assessment in the study textbook, and I'm starting by reading all the information that we have been given about the partnership of Helen and Vincent. So before you start looking at this solution, I suggest you read that information first to give you the background to what we're about to do. So task A, the first thing it asks me to do is some very basic formatting. So I need to format the headers in I've already done this a little bit bold. It doesn't say which font, so merge and center the partners' names over their respective columns. Align month columns to the left and all other columns to the right, and calculate the cumulative position of each partner for the month. So starting with their drawings, I'm going to just put an equals there. So I'm going to start with the January, and then what I'm going to do is add the total above to the total of that particular month. So I'll start by that plus the total for the next month. So previous month plus current month, and then I'm just going to fill that down. Just quickly repeat that for Vincent. So previous month plus current month, and then fill that down. And if you want to check if you've done that correctly, what I recommend you do is just double click on your last one and just check it's working on the right figures, which it is in this case. So we're told in the information that interest isn't charged on drawings until you get over 25 or 2005, 25,000. So they want us to use an if statement, so it's going to be equals. I'm not using the builder here, I'm just typing it, but if you've used the builder, the formula builder is the same principle, so I'm going to say equals if this, whatever's in there, is greater than 25,000, then multiply this value, whatever the cumulative total is, by 1%. Or I could put 0.01. Otherwise, enter a 0. Just that down. And then what I can do for speed is I can just copy, and then I should be able just to paste that straight in over on the right hand side, because it's all relative. So when I double click on that now, can you see it is acting on the right total. So I can then fill that down. So there I've got my interest, and now I need two total columns D and G. So D, just use a basic sum there, and G, and basic sum as well, just make sure they're right aligned. Okay, there's my totals, and then custom format the range if figures GBP currency. So I'll do custom form. I'm going to use the little expansion button there. So currency, 2 decimal places with a pound symbol. That's pretty much what I think they're after. And yeah, I've got the thousand separator. So I think maybe Helen and Vincent's name should be in bold as well. I think that's pretty much it for A. So for part B, we need to, it says on a new sheet, so let's get ourselves a new sheet. There we go. It doesn't tell us to name that sheet anything, so I'm going to leave it as the default that I've been given. And then it says I need to appropriate the profit for the year ended 31st of December 2007 between the two partners. So I'm just going to pause this video while I type in my titles. Okay, so all I've done is I've just typed in a basic appropriation headings, and we are told that the profit is 550,000. So over here I'm going to put in my 550,000. Actually, let's just format this. So let's go currency. I just want to make sure my negatives show up as red. And currency. That's the one I want. No. I think I'll go for that one where I get a negative symbol and it goes red. It's just a little bit clearer. So let's have a think. So Helen is due a salary of 50,000. Vince, no, I don't want it to do decimal places. Let's just knock back the decimal place. Right, okay. Vincent gets 45,000. The interest on the drawings, we have just calculated those. So 2520 for Helen and 1780 for Vincent. Helen hasn't given the business a loan, so she gets 0 there. Or you could leave that blank. And the interest on the loan is going to be 30,000. That's because it was a £50,000 loan, and he gets a £500,000 loan, and he gets 6% on that loan per year. So that's what Vincent is due from the business out of the profit. So we now need to figure out what we've got left here to share amongst the partners. So what we basically need to do is it's going to be the sum of these figures here. Now there's loads of ways you can do this. One nice way to keep this as a simple sum function is turn any potential positives into negatives. So the first thing I'm going to do is just say it's going to be the total of those two, like so. But that's somewhat misleading, because we know that actually the interest on the drawings is actually a negative. That's something we need to sorry, I got myself back to front there. No, so the salary must be, I'm going to type this in for notes, deducted from the profit. But the interest on the drawings goes back to the business. In other words, the partners owe it back to the business, so it gets added. And then finally, this is deducted from the profit. So what we need to do is we need to convert this to negatives, and an easy way to convert a positive figure to a negative is to either say, you could say 0 minus, that would do it, or you could say sum multiplied by -1. That will convert it to a negative. And then look, you see, so they're now negative values. So in the overall sum, you can see that we've done a nice little easy simple sum down here, and we've just converted those things that we needed to deduct as negatives. So we need to just now share the residual profit between the two partners, and there's Helen gets 2 shares and Vincent gets 1 share of that remaining profit. So I've just typed them in there. So I'm going to say it's remaining profit divided by total shares, which is 3, and multiplied by, well, I'm going to go for that like that. There's no reason why you couldn't just type the number 2 and just leave out this row altogether. Just need to put an absolute in there because that E9 is not going to change. And then I can drag that over, and that should be correct. Is that correct? Let me just double check that. Yeah, it is correct. It's just me, I'm confusing myself. I've put the wrong title here. That needs to go lower. And what I need here There we go. Right, so that's the share of the profits they get on that ratio. And then what I can do is, if you don't have to, but it's a good checking mechanism, what we can do is we can, certainly with the horizontal format that we're using here, if you just put the sum below, there we go. So all I've done is I've summed vertically, and that's how much Helen has received. That's how much Vincent has received. And if we've done it correctly, when we add those two figures together, then I clearly haven't done it correctly, then they should be the same. So this is, I'm pleased I did this because this is my ability to check. So what have I done wrong? Oh yeah, okay, this is what I've done wrong. So what I've forgotten is up here, these need to be treated the same. Let's do that again. So in fact these should be negatives here and here. So let me just change those to negatives, so minus, and because obviously each individual partner owes that amount back. Ooh, I'm £3 out, still not quite there. Oh, honestly, I'm such a muppet. There you go, I've actually accidentally included the share in it. So I'm going to take, I was trying to be clever, I'm not going to be clever anymore. I'm just going to put 2 in there, and I'm going to put nothing in there because it's 1. Well, I'll put 1 in just to make it clear, and then I'm going to take that row out because actually, there we go. Now that's nice and clean now. So that figure there and that figure there should equal each other if I've done my calculations correctly. So you can see how useful it is just to do a little check box like that one, because it made me realise I'd done it wrong. Let me just tidy that up. There we go. Right, so that's my finished solution. Now, actually, it's not my finished solution. I've just reread the question. Always good to go back to that question. And it does say, provide direct references from your answer to A where possible. Well, I didn't do that, did I? I just retyped these two. Actually, what they want me to do is instead go do an equals to the answer. Again, equals to the answer on the other sheet there, like so. So it's coming through from the other sheet, and then what I'll need to do is I'll just need to convert that to negative, and same again, times -1. Okay, yep, I'm happy with that now. So in the next task, it says that Helen asks you what figure for the profit for the year would need to be if she were to have a total amount distributed to herself of £350,000, assuming that all other data has changed. So we can use the goal seek function, and that's exactly what it directs us to do. So it says return to the original worksheet, that's here, and open a new worksheet and call it goal seek. So let's do that, new worksheet, and we will rename it to, I completely did that wrong, rename to goal seek, then return to the original and use the what if goal seek analysis to amend your data. When you've completed the goal seek dialog box, but before you click OK, take a screenshot. Okay, so let's just do our goal seek then. So I'm on the data ribbon, what if analysis, and I'm choosing the goal seek function. So we've got 3 variables here. So it's set cell. What is that? That's set cell. So in this case, Helen is saying this amount here if that were to be 350,000, what would the total profit need to be? So the set cell there is going to be this cell here, Helen's current total, and she wants to know what would happen if you changed it to 350,000 by changing this one here. So in other words, what does this have to be to give Helen that much there? Now I'm just going to click OK just to see it working. There we go. That has worked. So we've got our 350 down there, and you can see that it's changed the value up here. However, the question actually said before you click OK, take a screenshot. So let me just do that again. Puts the figures back the way they were. What if? Goal seek. So again, set this cell to 350,000 by changing that cell there. Now this is what they want us to do a screenshot of. Now you can either use the print screen button on your keyboard. I tend to use the snip function. So snip is a little tool. If you just go down, you can't see it on my screen at the moment, but I'm just typing snip to find the snipping tool. There we go. There's my snipping tool, and I'm gonna click new, and then I'm just dragging around, and there you go. You can hopefully, I'm not sure if you can see that, but I've got that snip there. And now when I go to my goal seek, I can cancel that now because I've done it. Click on a cell, and then from the home ribbon click paste. There we go, and that's now a paste of my screen with the goal seek dialog still open. If I'd have done print screen, let me just show you the difference. Delete that. If I had done a whole print screen, then what I would have got, I've just pressed the print screen button on my keyboard, and if I now just, nope, I clearly didn't work, did it? No, basically, I know what I did wrong. So you see what I mean? See the difference? So that's when I do a whole print screen, and then what I'm going to have to do is start cropping and fiddling around, which is a bit of a pain. So I do recommend that you do have a little play with the snipping tool, and it's super handy and super easy to use. So do get comfortable with it, and it's embedded into Windows, so it should be available to you on your exam. Oh, let me just copy it again and paste it in. There we go. So in part D, we have got a new scenario. We're leaving the workbook behind that we did in parts A to C. So you need to open a new data workbook. And we are being told that this is all to do with budget. So read the paragraph of information that you're given before you start part D. So the first question says, on the original budget worksheet, calculate the percentage to flex the budget in line with the information given and insert the percentage figure into cell D1. D1 here. So we are being told that, okay, so we were told that the original plan was to sell 50 per month at a price, well, the price is irrelevant at the moment, so let's just focus, all we've got to do is focus on the units made, because that's where we're going to get our variance from. 50 per month, but the actual sales for the period amounted to 165 units. Now be very careful here, because it does say that we're working on a quarter, so we're working on a 3-month basis. So originally the plan was to sell 50 times 3. If we do this, I'm going to do this the long way, so equals 50 times 3. That's the plan of what we were going to sell. What we actually sold was 165. So if we just do this, 165, take away 150, we can see that we've made 15 more units than we originally planned. That's where that figure 15 is coming from. Now in here in D1, all I'm interested in is the difference, you know, the 15. What 15 represents 1% of 150. That's the way to look at it. So if I've got two choices here. I'm already set to percentage. If I just go back to general, if I leave that cell set to general, I would have to go equals the increase value divided by the original total, and then to turn it into a percentage, I would then have to multiply by 100. So I get 10%. However, they want us to represent this as a percentage. So actually what you really need to do, if I just delete that, is convert that into a percentage before you even start, and then do that same again. So it's going to be, you can leave this in your sheet if you like. There's no problem with that at all, because the marker will see your thought process here. But I'm just going to type the values in. And notice I haven't put the times 100 because I've already told Excel this is going to be a percentage. So there you go, I get my 10%. If I'd put the times 100 in, it would have given me back like 1,000%. It would have been 100 too high. So that's my percentage increase. Then it says in D4, there, enter flexed budget. I'm just going to there, and I'm going to use the format painter. If I click on there, click on my format painter button, which is super useful, and then just click on my flex budget to copy the formatting. It's a very quick way of doing it. So it says now I've got to work out the flexed budget, so that's going to be equals the original budget multiplied by the percentage increase up in D1. But do be careful that, because well, in fact, let me just show you what happens if I don't use an absolute here. So press enter, and then I'm just going to drag that down. Whoops, a daisy, there's a few hideous errors there. The reason being that if I double click on one of those errors, I can see that I'm trying to multiply 600 by words, which clearly doesn't work. So it just reminds me that I needed on that original value there just to make sure that that D1 is absolute, so that when I fill it down it doesn't change from that cell there. Fine. Now we need to put in our actual results. So here we've got it says in E4, type the heading. Okay. And then it says that we have got the data already here on the actual result sheet here. And they want us to use the copy and paste link to insert these from the source worksheet into the original budget worksheet. So there's a couple of ways you can do this. So I'm just going to highlight everything and choose copy, and then go to original budget, click on the top cell and choose paste link. And if you look at that, all that's happened, it's gone equals from the other sheet. I could just as easily, and that's just a quick way of doing it, I could just as easily have gone equals, go to the actual results, click on that one, and then drag that down. That would have had exactly the same result. So we need to open a new workbook to do task D, and the first thing we need to do is read the information that we're given. So this is all about budgets. So this is the original budgeted revenue, variable and fixed overheads. And what we're being asked to do is in cell D4, enter the title flexed budget. So let's put that in here. Okay. Calculate the flex budget for the relevant entries using absolute referencing. Oh, I've missed one out, sorry. In the worksheet, calculate the percentage to flex the budget in line with the information given. Insert this percentage figure into cell D1. Right, so we know that's going to be a percentage, so let's just make sure that we format that as a percentage when we start. So let's just, so original, so the original volume, original units we got told was 50 per month, which is 150 per quarter. Be careful, they could, that little piece of information could trip you up easily. But actual was 165. So what you can see there is clearly we are, so actual minus original, we are 15 over. So we've had an increase in volume. So we're going to have to first of all work out what percentage. So 15 is what percentage of 150. So let's just put that calculation in here. So it's going to be 15 as a percentage of 150, and there's our answer, 10%. You can put extra data in like I have here. Oh, alternatively, I could have just put 15 over 150 into the formula. I'm sure you get the same amount of marks either way. Now, now we've got our increase percentage. What we need to do is apply that down to my flexed budget. So it's going to be, so it's going to be the original budget. So let's do that. The original budget times, or rather add. Let's put an add in there. I'm going to open my brackets. That figure multiplied by the 10% increase. Try to use referencing where you can. Try not to just type 10% here, because that could potentially change. Now, at this point, I've got an answer here. There's no shame whatsoever in picking up your calculator and just doing 18,000 times 110%, just to double check that your answer on screen is the correct answer. So that's my revenue. Now I'm going to fill that down, but be careful. Be careful. So don't, oh, well, I've got that wrong, haven't I? What have I done wrong there? Ah, I know what I've done wrong. When this happens like that, just double click on one of the ones that's gone wrong and see what's happening. Can you see? So I'm trying to multiply a number by a word. That's clearly not right. It's because I've forgotten to put an absolute on that cell in my original formula. Let me just go back to my original formula and let's just put, it's that D1, isn't it? I'm just going to just put an absolute around that D1 and fill that back down again. And there we go. And now that's worked nicely. Now, I didn't go all the way to the bottom. Why? Because you do flex fixed overheads, but you flex them by nothing, basically. So, because obviously fixed overheads don't, oh no, did I type 450? Naughty Linda. Look, that's what I should have done. And filled that down. There you go. Yeah, because obviously fixed overheads don't change with levels of production. So we're just going to keep those ones the same. And then moving on, we've got, oops, actual results, and we're told that the actual results are in a different worksheet. They're here, and then we've got to paste link them across. So quickest way to do that, highlight them, copy back to our original, click on the top one, and actually I think, would that have done it? No, see, if I just go for paste, it just pastes the values. That's not what I wanted. I wanted paste link, didn't I? So let me do that again. Copy and paste link. Now what actually you can see, I've actually got a formula coming from the other sheet, which is what we wanted. Great. So Now I need to work out my variances. I'll just put the title in. I'm just going to leave revenue, and I'm going to go to materials first. So all I'm doing is I'm saying, what's the difference? So this is what I'd planned to spend, and this is what I actually spent, or rather the company. And you can see when there's an overspend, you get a negative figure, which is exactly what we would expect. And that's also true of the fixed budgets as well. So that's good. But revenue is the opposite. So this is what you made. So when you made less than what you had budgeted, that's when you get your negative adverse. So in fact, what I need to do is, rather than going left to right, I need to go right to left on this particular formula. So it's what I actually made minus what I hoped to make, and in this case you can see I actually made £330 less than what was budgeted. So then we need to state, using an if statement, whether it's favourable, adverse or favourable. So I'm just going to use if. So if the variance, which way around shall we do it? So I'll say if the variance is greater than 0, then no, because 0 is also favourable. I'll say greater than or equal to 0, then I'm going to type the word favourable, remembering to put it in speech marks, then comma, otherwise speech marks, adverse speech marks, close brackets. Let's see if that works. Yeah, it does. Just double check all the way down, and it appears to work so far. The operating profit for the original flexed budget and actual results. Calculate the total overall variance in. So I got so carried away with my variances that I forgot to do this bit. Okay, so this is how much I hope to make, and this is all my costs, so therefore it's going to be my original budget minus sum of my costs, 8550. I'm just going to, it's going to be the same here and here, so I'm just going to drag those across, and my variances, I'm just going to do a sum of the lot. Will that work? Yeah, okay. Sorry I missed that out. Right, we're looking to see if we've done our column totals correctly, and it says colour cell, rather put an if statement in F18 that will show balanced, or check if they do not. Colour cell F18 with a yellow background and a black border. So let's just do that first. Let's go, easiest thing to do, F18. There it is. So we're going, what does it say? Yellow background and a black border. Yep. Okay, and they want an if statement that will show balanced if the column totals balance and check if they do not. Okay, so it's going to be equals if, how am I going to do this? This amount plus the total of the flex budget plus the total of the actual results equals the total variances, then I've done it right, balanced. Otherwise, go back and check your work. Oh, I have to check my work. Did I do that the right way round? I said D15 plus E15. That's not right, is it? Minus. Nope, still not right. Let's try and figure out why. So that sum there D14 minus E14. No, it's still not. Let me do it that in the reverse. I'll get there. E15 minus. I need to get a negative. Let's try that one. Balanced, yeah. Okay, so that was a fiddly little one. To be honest with you, you could spend a lot of time stressing over something like that, and actually all you get is 2 marks. Actually, you probably only get 1 mark, because then it goes on to say, make sure all column headings are in bold and adjust the cells so the contents can be seen. Okay, that's F done. Okay, so the G is all about using goal seek. So first of all, they just want us to type in what cell? A20. Okay. So that's just a title, and then it says using goal seek function determine what increase in sales volume over budget on cell D1 would have resulted in a flexed budget profit of 10,000. Okay, so right, we're going to use the goal seek to do this, and what it's saying is we'll type the answer in here once we've used the goal seek. So what it's saying is, let's have a look at our goal seek here. So set value, what was the value? So we wanted to know what our sales volume over budget, a flexed budget profit. So we're trying to work out what percentage increase in volume, so using the goal seek function, what increase in sales volume over budget, cell D1, it actually says what increase. So what does this need to change to here in order to increase this cell, the operating profit here, to 10,000? So set cell operating profit to 10,000 by changing that percentage there. Right, okay, I've got an issue here because I calculated that using, let me just cancel. I did a formula to calculate that, but now they're saying that I can't use the goal seek. So let me just retype that as 10%. I think they also said they wanted it 1 decimal place. So let me do that again. So that's the one we're changing. So data, what if, goal seek. So set cell D15, the flexed operating profit, to 10,000 by changing cell D1. Okay, there we go. So it's worked it out, and it's told me that I would have to have increased my my flexed budget, my actual volume by 15.3%. Right, so remember that number and then type it as your answer in cell D. Type this amount into D20. Oh no, I've put it in the wrong place. D20, 15.3%. So finally, it says we need to identify the 2 largest variances. From the variances in cell F5 to F15, that's what we have there, F5 to F15, identify the 2 most significant variances and insert appropriate text in column H. This might sound like you're trying to use max and min and things like that, but I don't think it is. I think all we're doing is using our eyes just to work down the two largest differences. So work away from 0. So whether it's going positive or negative doesn't make any difference. So we've got 330 negative here, and we have 200 favourable there. And there, the next one, the third one, is 185. So I would say this is the most, I'm just typing it, and second most. Certainly that's how I interpret anyway. And given that I'm no longer using this because I just typed the answer, I'm going to get rid of that. And I think that's done now. That's the end.